Miss E.B. was hunched over the laptop, absorbed in her task. Hearing the creak of the hinges, she whirled around. In an instant, she reassumed the scaly persona of Ezakai Bossu. Your timing is impeccable, Allith. I am composing the final chapter of our adventure. Once that is accomplished, the story will play out in accordance with my wishes. Lady Allith wished she possessed the strength to slay her enemy unaided. If only MacBlaine was at her side. Just then Semple returned home. He was knackered, and Tacy's warning had depressed him. Might doing a bit of writing before he returned in bring a measure of welcome relief? Reaching the landing, he saw that the aerie light was shining. Miss E.B. must be up to her shenanigans again. Semple rushed into the room, which was occupied by a large, winged creature and a knight brandishing a naked blade. "Who are you two?" With a flutter of her wings, the dragon's head flowed into Miss E.B.'s blue eyes and auburn hair. Another shape restored her scaly appearance. Shifting her bulk, she slipped behind Semple, slamming closed and locking the door. Peter Semple, the protagonists of the siege of Castle Askerton, stand before you. It is only fitting that you write the tale's final chapter, at my direction, of course. Believe me, sir, the noblewoman pointed her sword at the dragon. If you conclude the tale in the manner she dictates, Castle Askerton will be in her thrall. Ignore her blabbering, Ezakai Bossu hissed. All Lady Allith wants is to keep her boot planted on her subjects' necks. Semple's gaze pivoted between the pair. Which one could he trust? Spurred into action, he freed the laptop from its cables and retreated to the far corner of the room. The machine pressed against his chest. Unless I finish the manuscript as I intend, I will delete it. Allith drew close. I beg you not to do that. The consequences. Bossu's laughter shook the walls. What Lady Allith does not want you to know is, thwarting me will blot out our world. Is it in you to erase an untold number of men, women, and children? The dragon lunged at Semple. Lady Allith smacked her snout with the sword hilt, and they fell to the floor. Screams and guttural cries in an incomprehensible tongue punctuated the wrestling match that ensued. At one juncture, Bossu shoved Allith aside and attempted to seize the laptop. Semple scuttled under the desk, tightening his hold on the computer. Allith managed to draw her broadsword. Bossu parried her thrusts with the blade. Against the background of the continuing combat, Semple tapped a series of keys. Forgive me, Lady Allith. He mashed the return key. The screen went blank, and the room spun like a top. A blur of color surrounded Semple, dizzying him. His knees, then his face, hit the floor. Semple didn't know how much time passed before he came to. Lying on his back, he surveyed the room. He saw Emma's sewing machine, the spools of colored thread, and her unfinished projects. He made his way to the ladder-back chair beside the sewing machine table. What made him black out? Perhaps it was the elevated blood pressure about which his GP always hectored him. Semple made a mental note to have a chemist fill the prescription for the blood pressure pills. Sounds from below broke in on these jumbled thoughts. He went to the landing and looked down, gripping the banisters to steady himself. A round, dimpled face came into view. Are you unwell, Peter? Emma peered up at her husband. You look rather pale. I'm fine. Isn't it about tea time? Why, yes. The chicken I picked up at Tesco will be on the table in 10 minutes. Semple tottered to the loo to wash up. The mirror showed that a 50p-sized knot was in the middle of his forehead. Probing the tender spot with his fingertip, he wondered how he had come by it. Heading downstairs, Semple came close to tumbling arse over tea kettle. He had stepped on a piece of antler, whose glossy surface was inlaid with precious metals. Semple muttered a curse. One or the other of the girls was always sending home tchotchke that they came across in the course of their travels. Semple pocketed the curiosity. He would ask Emma about it later. Her voice floated up to him again. Coming, Peter? I'll be right there, my dear. The end.